There are a lot of different animal species that you can find in World of Warcraft, including ducks. And today we are going to have a look at the pointless top 10 gorillas in World of Warcraft.
Hello,
it's going
everybody.
To be fun.
How's it going? It's me, Krendor, welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show I make top 10 lists of pointless things where we fly by a pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 are the Thunderfist gorillas located in the Jade Forest. And, you know, they're not going to be as interesting or exciting as some of the other gorillas we'll look at on this list.
Some have them as pets on the Hunter.
Which is why I wanted to put them on the list. And I thought it'd be a good time to talk about a gorilla fact, which is gorillas' arms are longer than their legs. Because of the length of their arms, gorillas are better able to walk on all fours. They do everything with the tips of their fingers and knuckles. They're capable of walking on two legs for about 10 feet. Gorilla's arm span is roughly 1 foot longer than that of an adult human male. Though modern gorillas spend most of their time on the ground, their lengthy forearms hint at a past life in the trees. So there you go. That's some gorilla facts. I figured it'd be a good point to put it in there because it's like, you know, gorilla arms, thunder fist, arms, they're attached. Listen, I'm just trying to find something. That's why the Thunderfist gorillas are number 10. 9. Number 9 is Zeus. And Zeus is a gorilla witch doctor located in Gorilla Gorge in Zuldazar. And not only is
let me guess. This is from the quest where they all consume Kedgermite or something, right? And because of that, they can, they can think now like humans and stuff. They're like very, very smart, right?
Zeus is a gorilla witch doctor located in Gorilla Gorge in Zuldazar. And not only is he a cool gorilla witch doctor, but he is likely a reference to Dr. Zeus from Planet of the Apes. And all I can ever think of when I hear of Dr. Zeus is the Simpsons thing where they're like, Dr. Zeus, Dr. Zeus, Dr. Zeus. But even if this wasn't a reference to Planet of the Apes, I think this is an awesome gorilla. I mean, he's literally a gorilla witch doctor. Like, how cool is that? And he's got abilities
New allied race coming in.
Gorilla Science and Banana Launch Pattern Alpha, which are also fantastic. Also, he's a part of a quest called Unending Gorilla Warfare, where you have to kill him, as well as Dakani Pugilists, Dakani Highbrows, and King Daka, all of who did not make the list, so I'm sorry to all of them, but there's a little shout out for all of them. But overall, I couldn't pass up Witch Doctor Gorilla, also a Planet of the Apes reference, and also kind of a Simpsons reference, because I love the Simpsons. So that's why Zeus is number 9. 8. Number 8 is Mock the Savage, and Mock the Savage is a gorilla found in a cave in the Cape of Stranglethorn that will only appear after being summoned by Witch Doctor Unbagwa when you turn in gorilla fangs. So Finn Fizzracket is suffering from Stranglethorn fever, which is a deadly virus, and the only cure is to eat the...
Wait, have I done this before? Okay. I think I did this quest before, but that was a long time ago.
The heart of Mock Savage, which I don't know how he knows this, but he must just be knowledgeable about Stranglethorn diseases or something. So he's like, yo, you got to go find Witch Doctor Umbagwa.
He's a doctor.
So you go to Witch Doctor Umbagwa,
and
he's like,
right?
yo, bring me some gorilla fangs, and then we're going to get attacked by gorillas. And then that's what happens. You get attacked by gorillas, you protect him, and then Mock the Savage shows up, and you kill him, and you take his heart.
Or you just
go back
him
to him, and then he's feeling A-okay. This is one of those quests I always remember because I always remember dying to the waves of gorillas, and then you get to Mock the Savage, and then just this weird, like, sickness, Stranglethorn fever thing. It's a really weird quest, but it's a memorable one, and so that's why it's number 8. 7. Number 7 are the Elder Mistvale gorillas found in Mistvale Valley in the Cape of Stranglethorn. And there's 2 things I remember these gorillas for. Well, 3, because technically they do drop the gorilla fangs.
One thing is confusing me though. They have like a new model, right? And if we go back, they have an old model. Do they still have this old model, or is it a class? Is it a quest that's just available in Classic? I think that's, you can no longer do this. This is just in Classic, right? Or he only used, Classic to record this. Or maybe someone had it recorded or something and gave it to him. I'm not sure if you can still do this quest though, right? Because if you look at like the old models, I don't know, maybe he only used this for footage. Or this quest no longer exists.
In the Cape of Stranglethorn. And there's 2 things I remember these gorillas for. Well, 3, because technically they do drop the gorilla fangs for the Mock the Savage quest we just talked about, so that's 1. Then the Mistvale giblets, which are for scaring Shaky. You essentially get a bunch of giblets, and he's supposed to pay his gambling debts, and you take it to him and go like, look, this is what happens when you don't pay your debts. And then he's supposed to think they're like human giblets, but it's actually gorilla giblet. What even is a giblet? It's the liver, heart, gizzard, and neck Ugh. I didn't even know.
That's
I thought it was just
disgusting.
like the thing in their throat. Because I remember turkeys on Thanksgiving. Well, there you go. Okay. And then the aged gorilla sinew, which may be one of the worst drop rates in World of Warcraft history. I would either get this after like 2 kills or like 2 hours. I also have fond memories of these gorillas because I remember way back in like 2005 when I started playing. I took the Zeppelin here and I ran out into Stranglethorn, and these were like one of the first mobs I saw, and I was like level 9 at the time, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. These are like a question mark.
This reminds me of my early days in WoW. And this is like doing like early WoW. Like, was it like, it was before TBC. It was actually when it launched. So I got to play World of Warcraft the first time, not on my own account, but on a friend's account. And he told me, hey, you know what? Come over. I have this new game. It's called World of Warcraft. And it's very fun. It's an MMO. So it's like an online RPG game with like a lot of other players. You can like fight against other players in the wilds and stuff. And I was like, oh, that game sounds fun. Let me try that, okay? So I made like a character. And if I remember correct, this was an Orc Warlock, my first character, I think, that I made. I got to play a bit on the Orc Shaman as well. Like my friend's character was a Shaman. He let me try it a bit. But I think it was an Orc Warlock actually. Because I thought it was like kind of cool, like being this sort of dark mage or something, right? Like Warlock. I love the class fantasy a lot. And when I made this character, I was like leveling. This was in Durota. And also a bit in the Barrens. And I think I walked straight into Ashenvale because I had no freaking clue with like the leveling and stuff, like how every mob in a zone is like 10 levels or 20 levels higher. And I think just level 10 or something. I was like really low. And I actually walked into freaking Ashenvale and mobs like two-shot at me and stuff. And I died. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? Why does this mob two-shot me or something? It was insane. Like, I had no clue with the scaling, and I got to zones or like here Stranglethorn. I think I was there also like I was 3 levels below what I should be or something, and every mob was like really hard to kill. I got here also too early by 2-3 levels. Everything was like I think it was like orange or red, like the level, and it always says that if it's too high, right? Yeah, I remember good old days, making my first wipe experiences while leveling, and then I'm not coming back to this zone until I'm a certain level. This is so fun. Do you guys also remember that? For those of you that were like new, like that remember their good old days when they played WoW for the first time. Like I died to the dumbest things in the game. Like seriously, just walking to like a new zone or getting ambushed by like a player, and I'm like, was this an NPC or a player? It happened to me too. I once died to a player and I thought it was an NPC because that player had a very strange name. It was some Alliance Night Elf, and I was in fact in Ashenvale, and there were like NPCs that had a similar name like that guy.
Gorillas.
That's very weird.
So there's actually a lot of things that tie into these gorillas that make me like them a lot, and so that's why they're number 7. 6. Number 6 is Amy01, and Amy01 is a mechanical gorilla that is designed by Karna Rem Travel.
Can you tame
It pretty
this?
much says something's happened to one of my greatest inventions. You've seen mechanical squirrels. Well, to get closer to the apes of Ungoro, I created a mechanical ape to blend in with their kind called Amy01. And this is actually a reference to the book and movie Congo, where there's a gorilla that knows sign language named Amy. So you head out, you go and find Amy, and you need to go find a mithril casing and then turn the power off and on, which is kind of funny. They did a little, turn it off and on again goof. And then after you repair Amy, you have to escort her back to the Ungoro camp, which was always really annoying back in the day, which is part of the reason I remember this quest, not only because you had to go get the mithril casing, but then you had to do the escort quest, and then, there'd always be someone else doing the escort quest.
So
it was just a whole thing. But anyway, once you're done with that, she's like, thank you very much. She's got a bunch of dents. We'll get her up and running perfectly with just a little work. Thanks again. So, it's a fun quest, a little bit involved, but listen, this is a robotic gorilla. There's not many of these in the game, and so that's why Amy is number 6.
It's very unique, yes.
Number 5 is King Mukla, and King Mukla is an
He's
enormous
my pet
sky
on
main
Hunter.
gorilla found on Jaguaro
actually.
Isle in the Cape of Stranglethorn. And he has captured a Taran princess,
I
Pooh
have him.
And people say he's either a reference to King Kong or Donkey Kong, but it seems more like Donkey Kong. However, Donkey Kong is a reference to King Kong, so it really just all comes back around anyway. He does have a move called Barrel Bash, where he hurls a massive barrel at the enemy, which explodes.
That's why I say this is a Donkey Kong reference, because Donkey Kong also has barrels that he can throw and stuff, right? So that can't be a Donkey Kong. This can't be. Yeah, this must be a Donkey Kong reference. Like, there's no other gorilla in any game or movie that throws barrels, right? Because King Kong doesn't do that. But yeah, Donkey Kong is a King Kong reference, but still, I think this is 100% Donkey Kong.
Does have a move called Barrel Bash, where he hurls a massive barrel at the enemy, which explodes. So, you know, just like in the Donkey Kong video game, he's throwing barrels at you.
Almost pointless, I tempt him, because
I think a lot of
others have
people
the same
remember
mod.
King Muckla just because of Hearthstone.
For the name.
I think he's more well known in Hearthstone than he is in World of Warcraft. In fact, in Hearthstone, there's an old god corrupted version of King Muckla, Muckla the Tyrant of the Veil. In fact, King Muckla's had a bunch of lore in Hearthstone, probably more than World of Warcraft, where he's just a reference, but that's Hearthstone, that's not WoW. But either way, King Muckla, giant gorilla, really cool. He's number 5. 4. Number 4 is Sul Kalu, and Sul Kalu is an earth spirit that's a large white gorilla rare mob wandering west of Lake Nazfaridi. They are one of the 3 totemic spirits worshipped by the Bloodscalp tribe.
Wait, I've also a white gorilla
spirit
pet
in the form of small ape-shaped statues. The other 2 Bloodscalp spirits are Mahamba, who is a water crocodile spirit, and Pogayan, who is a mountain lion fire spirit. Sul Kalu is also a reference to Sul Kalu, which is a giant featured in the legends of the Cherokee people of the southeastern United States. And
wow.
Sul Kalu is pretty cool because he's
Didn't
one
know
of
that.
only 2 blue-white gorillas that are tameable by hunters, the other being Uklok, another rare mob. Sul Kalu is also one of
I think I tamed Uklok, not this one, because I try to remember. I have the same kind of skin on one of my pets. I think I got Uklok, not this one. Yeah, I think it was Uklok. I have to check my stables later and see what name, because I don't think I changed the name.
One of the largest in-game gorillas, although considerably smaller than King Muckla. So there you go. Sul Kalu may not be the biggest gorilla, but he's the second biggest. He's a rare mob. He's an earth spirit, and he's pretty cool. And that's why he's number 4. 3. Number 3 is Gargantua, the chained-up gorilla at the Dark Moon Fair. And a lot of people think Gargantua is a reference to King Kong, especially with all the artwork all over, and you're like, oh, it's King Kong on those. But it's actually a reference to Gargantua the Great. And he was a 550-pound gorilla that drew more than 40 million circus goers for the Ringling Brothers Circus. So there you go, a little historical fact there. But you know, Gargantua is probably one of the big sights to see here at the Dark Moon Fair petting zoo, but I don't even know if I'd call it a petting zoo. There's not many things you could pet here at the Dark Moon Fair.
No.
More so just a zoo. In fact, I made a pointless top 10 Dark Moon Fair things you could check out at the cards above if you want to see that. But overall, Gargantua, really cool gorilla, and probably the main attraction of the actual Dark Moon Fair zoo area. So that's why Gargantua is number 3. 2. Number 2 is Grong, and I think Grong actually might be the biggest gorilla in the game, but according to Wowpedia, Grong is an intelligent gorilla located in Zuldazar, the smartest of his kind. When war came to Zandalar, Bilgewater goblins attempted to poach the Dakani gorillas despite the gorillas' best efforts to speak with them peacefully. In response to this, Grong joined forces with the Alliance, volunteering to become a living weapon against the Horde by converting his intelligence into pure strength with gnomish technology. Grong, having been increased in size and power, but decreased in his intelligence by gnomish engineering, fought the Horde in the Battle of Dazar Lor. After he was killed by the Horde, he was risen as an undead by Buon Samdi and turned against the Alliance, who in turn put him to rest. Which I actually did not know, because I've only...
This is sad, but one thing would be cool, if you could actually tame this one. I imagine you are a Forsaken Hunter, for example, and you have this as your pet. He's not tameable, is he? Whoa, imagine this one is your pet. Or any hunter, it doesn't matter if you're Forsaken, but this would be such an OP pet. Like, imagine this skin, this look.
Against the Alliance, who in turn put him to rest. Which I actually did not know, because I've only done the Horde version of this. And looking it up, I was like, oh my god, that's an undead gorilla. So I guess I was going to put him on the list, but they're technically the same one. So I also learned that the Dakani are a tribe of intelligent gorillas in Gorilla Gorge and Zuldazar, and they became enlightened due to their exposure to Kajamite. So these gorillas are pretty much like X-Men. They're like X-gorillas.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Grong is probably the biggest and smartest gorilla in the game. And on top of that, he's a raid boss. So that's why he's number 2. 1. And number 1 is Glib. And Glib is a gorilla once found at the Bronzebeard encampment in Silithus. And Bran Bronzebeard mentions him in his lost letter. At the time of the destruction of Silithus, it seems that Glib was with Bran, as he later can be found with him aboard the Wind's Redemption docked at Borealis in Kulturas. He travels to Nazmir on Zandalar with Bran. And you might be like, Krendor, well, why is Glib #1? Is that it? Just because it's Bran Bronzebeard's pet? Well, here's the thing. Though he is called a monkey, Glib uses a gorilla model. This is probably because monkey models did not exist in the game when he was added. Even after monkeys were added in Cataclysm, Glib did not receive a...
If you look at the color, isn't that like a chimpanzee color, right? Yeah. Like chimpanzees, they also have this kind of coloration. They usually have like a darker face and this kind of orange thingy, right? Like this orange to brown fur. Maybe he's supposed to be a chimpanzee or something.
Exist in the game when he was added. Even after monkeys were added in Cataclysm, Glib did not receive a new model. And this discrepancy is referenced in Glib's gossip text in Battle for Azeroth, where it says, Glib looks at you curiously. Bran doesn't have the heart to tell him he's not a monkey. And I know what everybody's thinking, aren't gorillas and monkeys the same? But if you look it up, is a gorilla a monkey or ape? Almost all monkeys have tails. Apes don't have tails. Since gorillas don't have tails, they are classified as apes. But either way, it felt extremely fitting for a pointless top 10 to have the #1 gorilla be a gorilla that thinks he's a monkey and not a gorilla. And that's why he's #1.
He's confused.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also,
I will like this for sure. It was a good video. Yeah, it's actually crazy. Like, there's so many small quests and details in World of Warcraft. They're quite often being overlooked. Like, sometimes I just do a quest that I rush through because I'm like leveling a character. And even though I read a bit of or parts of the quest, I don't get what the heck's the backstory, what's going on. But watching a lot of those pointless top 10 videos just gives me like more insight on what kind of quest I did or something. Or what is this NPC I have to freaking kill in this quest. Or the raid boss. Wait, this raid boss has a backstory. Wait, the undead gorilla that we just killed. Wait, he was like once alive and empowered by gnomish technology or something. Like, this is actually pretty fascinating, because sometimes I just go through a quest, I complete, and I had no clue what I was doing. But yeah, this helps me understand more. Wow, I actually wonder if some of them are actually returning as well, like of those unique NPCs we see here. Because I know like what Blizzard likes to do nowadays is like we meet NPCs in Legion, for example, and now they are back in Dragonflight or something, right? So maybe some older NPCs or quest lines, they will get a part 2 in like a future expansion or something. That would be interesting. Plus we need at some point also a revamp, like a remake of all the old zones and also some quests. And what they could do to make it not so boring, actually add a part 2. Or change the quest a bit or something. Make the quest longer, maybe more in-depth. We will see what Blizzard will do with Azeroth in the next upcoming patches. I saw the roadmap already of Blizzard, what they plan on doing. And I read there that they want to go back to older stuff as well. Let's see what they're gonna change, if there will be like model updates and this and that. It's gonna be definitely fun and fascinating. I'm excited for the upcoming months and the updates that are coming. So yeah. If you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time.